On assigning students, again, just for a refresher. Anderson and Hezekiah, number one. Hezekiah, you're going to be number two. Anna and Jones, Anna, you're number one. You're number two. Zaire and Max, Max, you're number one. Zaire, number two. JJ and Natalie, JJ, you're number one. Natalie, you're number two. Scooter and Nevaeh, you're number one. You're number two. Alexa and Jason, Jason, you're number one. You're number two. Oh, I'm sorry. Alexa and Lazaro. Lazaro, you're number one. Alexa, you're number two. Number one, number two. Centron, Gerard, number one, number two. Gerard. Miguel King, Miguel, you're number one. King, you're number two. Yanuel and Denai, Denai, number one. Yanuel is number two. Hold up your number, please. Are you a number one or are you a number two? Good. And I saw that Natalie was like, I'm not sure what number I am. But then she looked at her partner and she noticed that Jason was number one, so she had to be number two. Or JJ. I was sorry. So JJ, she noticed that JJ was number one, so she had to be number two. So if at any point during this lesson you forget what number you are, look at your partner and ask them if they are. You would be the opposite number. Exactly. All right, so I have a thinking map up here. Right now, the title of the thinking map is called essay. What kind of thinking map is this? I'm looking for hands. Let's see. Someone in the back. Yanuel, what kind of thinking map is this? Oh, I couldn't hear you. You said? An informative essay. What kind of thinking map is this? It's a circle map. We've worked with circle maps a lot in this class. We are like experts at circle maps. So my title is essay. What I want on the thinking parts of it is parts of an essay. What does an essay include? I want some thinking time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the clock 2 minutes or so. And you're going to be brainstorming right now all the things that an essay needs to have. Okay, Natalie. We're not thinking out loud right now, we're writing, and then we're going to share. Okay, so thank you for noticing something. Natalie said right away, she said we have a hook, so that will be the one freebie that everybody gets. It's a hook, okay? So I'll put 2 minutes. We're going to think with our own thoughts for 2 minutes, write as much as you can down, and then we will discuss. What's the only wrong answer here? Right. I noticed that Nevaeh is looking at the paper that I gave her of the rubric to look to see, oh, I have forgotten something on my list. Let me look back at my resources. That was a very smart thing to do, Nevaeh. Okay. Give me a thumbs up. I want you to hold up the number, count how many things you wrote down on your paper, and I want you to hold up the number of things that you put on your paper. If it's more than 10, just put 10. Fives, some sixes, some fours, some tens. So Naya, you got a 10, 10, 10, 10. Very nice. Okay, so who would like to share one thing? Don't go down the list of all of them, just one thing. Brennan? A topic. We talked about a hook earlier today, or earlier before this started. What is a hook, Natalie? Can you explain? So that's an example. So she's giving me an example of a hook. Have you heard about this? Imagine that. Well, what is a hook? Okay, let's think for a second. Let's think. Count for a second. Put your hands down and really think about what a hook is. Without giving me a description of a hook, I want a good definition of what a hook is. I know what you're saying, but it's not exactly correct. Pick someone to help you out. Anyone you want, just like pretty. Is a hook a question? It doesn't always have to be a question, right? We've gotten into the habit in this classroom of asking questions. Have you heard about this? But it doesn't always have to be a question. This is a very good point, Alexa. It's not always a question. Someone. That makes people interested. Interested in what? Like it's definitely something that gets people interested. Max, what does it get them interested in? Read what more? Exactly. So we're not just talking about any book. Okay, I can go into the library and pick up a book, and the book might have a hook in it, but no, it's your writing, it's your essay that they're working on. So I think of going fishing. You're putting out your line, and when a fish grabs your hook, you're reeling them in, right? You're getting them closer to it. So that's what's happening with your writing. You're hooking in your reader, your audience. Who is this for? Who is reading it? And you're bringing them into your writing. You want them to be closer to your essay. You want them to be reading your essay and be really interested. You want them to want to read your essay. And that's what a hook is. It doesn't always have to be a question. It doesn't always have to be a statement. It doesn't always have to say, imagine this. But it has to get the reader's attention. Do we understand? Give me a thumbs up if you understand. Give me a here if you know. Like, I need some more on it. Okay, so then what's the topic? The topic is what the whole thing is about. Like we're doing an essay about the Civil War. The topic is you're in your partner's battle. Exactly. So what happens if it goes off topic? Miguel. That's what's important about that topic sentence, right? You don't ever say your topic. How is your reader going to know what you're writing about? Okay, it's very important that we stay on topic and that we state the topic, correct? So like Nadea said, we're working on battles of the Civil War. So everybody has a different topic, right? Because everybody has a different battle. Who can give me something else to put in the thinking map? Jason? Your essay you have to put indents. Indents. What is an indent, Jason? An indent when you're ending one paragraph, that's what you were talking about. Indent the first word in your next paragraph, so they don't think you're talking about. Perfect. Can you all show me how we indent on a paper? Let's pretend like we're indenting. What do we do? How do we do that? I see everybody taking their finger out. Thank you for those of you who are doing it. And you're taking your finger out You're stopping at kind of the red line. You're putting your finger on the red line, and then where your finger ends is where your sentence begins. That is a good indent. I want you to stand up. Wow. That was a trick. I want you to stand up if you think we skip lines on essays. And I want you to sit on the floor if we do not skip lines on an essay. Okay, I got a few people that say we skip lines. And then I have most of the class saying we don't skip lines. So I want you to tell me, Gerard, I haven't heard from you yet. Why do you think we skip lines? Or when? When do you skip a line? Oh, so they have changed her mind and Miguel changed his mind. He said, wait a second. I don't skip a line when I do my first paragraph, so they changed their mind. So Gerard, you actually do not skip lines. We've decided it's perfectly okay to skip lines. It's a personal preference. And in this classroom, we are teaching the whole class that we do not skip lines. But I do want to hear from Miguel and Nevaeh because you guys changed your minds. Why did you change your minds? Nevaeh?
I changed my mind because I remember that English is basically the starting point of any paragraph. So you don't have to like skip a line.
Right. That's exactly right. When we're working on an essay, the whole essay is on the same topic. It's on one particular topic. Okay. So if we were going off onto a different topic, maybe then we would skip a line. But for this class, what we are teaching for your writing is we do not skip a line. So there's a line here. If I was to write something right here, and I needed a new paragraph, I do not skip to go to the next line. I keep going, and I just indent. So our indenting tells the reader that this is a supportive detail, this is a new thought, but it's the same topic all the way down. Okay, go back into your seat. Manuel, you'd like to share? Is that what you're asking raising your hand for? Okay, I need someone who wants to share. Hezekiah? An introduction. An introduction. Introduction. When I think of introduction, I look at my prefix. My prefix here is intro. Feel free to box that prefix if you would like to. Intro. When I think of intro, I think of an intro to a song. I think of introducing myself to someone new. What do you guys think an introduction is? Hezekiah, you have an answer? So that's an example. That's exactly right. And when you're writing, what are you introducing? If you're writing about characters, maybe you'd be introducing all the characters. But what exactly are we introducing in our writing, Alexa? The essay? So if I was to introduce the essay, I would say, okay, I'm writing an essay about this. Do we see that in the writing? No, we don't tell the reader what we're doing. We just do what we're supposed to be doing, right? So what is an introduction? Max? Oh, so that's a good point, Max. They don't actually go into super big details in the first introduction paragraph. It introduces the topic, but you don't want to give too much away, right? Because you have to write 5 paragraphs. It's kind of a lot to write, right? So you can't give it all away in the first paragraph. That's his point. He says it introduces the paragraph. When I think of an introduction, if I was to introduce myself to the class, I would say, my name is Ms. Schmidt. I'm going to school at FSW. I'm going to become a teacher. And that's probably where I would stop. It's quick, it's straight to the point. I have a few details that I would like you to know about myself, and then that is it. Do we understand? So your introduction is very similar. You're going to introduce your topic, you're going to give 3 supporting details, and then you're going to move on and start talking about your details later on in the paragraph. Need something new to add on to my circle. Something new, King? So essays, this is a circle map about what essays should have, okay? Not necessarily something that they don't have. So would you like to change your answer? 5 paragraphs or more. I think, Anderson had something like that too, right? He said 4 to 5 paragraphs. And I would say that too. You need an introduction, you need a conclusion, you need your bodies. And that ends up being 4 to 5 paragraphs. Something new. Anna? Completed sentences. So, you mentioned that we do not have run-on sentences. I'm just trying to do an update on my computer. So Kate mentioned that we do not have run-on sentences, but I said, what are we supposed to have? And Anna said completed sentences. Those are the opposites of each other, correct? Yeah. If we don't have run-on sentences, what do we do have? We always have completed sentences, one complete thought. Something new, something more that we can add. JJ? Capitalization. When do we capitalize? Okay. In the beginning of what? In the beginning of each sentence, correct? Name. What about eyes?
Yeah, and if it's by itself
Or I'm. So he mentioned something important. I gets capitalized and I'm gets capitalized. Who can tell me why I'm gets capitalized? Because when I read you guys' writing a lot, I see I'm with a lowercase I. And what are the 2 words that are in I'm? We can all just say them. Ready? So when you're saying I am, you're saying that I am doing something. I am about to do something. So that is a person. You're talking about yourself. Just because you put it into a conjunction doesn't mean that you're not saying I. That is very important. What else do we need?
details.
Details. How many details do you need? A couple? That's 2. You said a lot or a couple? Which one is it? A couple. So a couple means 2. Is this correct? Hold up the number of how many details you need. Okay, so put your hands down. We're saying a lot of details, right? Is there such a thing? Raise your hand if you think that there is such a thing as too many details. No? Probably not. With this class, we kind of don't struggle with that. Nobody really kind of goes on. But what if those details don't have anything to do with the topic? Shake your hands, yes or no. That would be good or bad. Very not good, right? So we have to make sure that even though we need a lot of details in our sentences, we need a topic and we need 3 supporting details. And if we had 3 reasons and we had 3 supporting details for each, that would be 3 times 3, which is 9. So you need at least 9 details. All of those details matter. You have to make them on topic. Okay? You have to address the prompt. You have to answer the questions using those supporting details. Very important. Good job. Anything else? I'm going to take 2 more and that's it. Dania? Vocabulary? There's something that in the FSA writing you absolutely need, and in my introduction to the battles of the Civil War, you absolutely need. I want us to think for 10 seconds. What if me as a teacher would I need that's not on this list yet? You have to put your hands down, and we're going to spend some time thinking. Close your eyes and think for 10 seconds. I'll count for you. You just think. Okay, now raise your hand if you think that you know what I'm missing. What is missing from what I'm saying, from what's up here? What is missing? Gerard? Put that on the list, punctuation. That's not what I was hoping for. Not what I was hoping for. Lazaro? Examples? Definitely we could need it. Hezekiah? Oh, we definitely need transitions. I actually forgot all about transition. Transitions are a big one. Do you know what it is, Hezekiah, transitions? Can you give an example? In conclusion would be a transition. Why are transitions important? Jason.
Because it's like when you're saying, well,
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people know. 8 people know. Jones. What would happen if we didn't have transitions? Say it louder, please. The person who's reading it will not know. Where's the beginning? Where's the middle? Where's the end? Very, 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 very important. So there's one more thing that I'm looking for. One more thing that I'm looking for, Denaya. No? Well, we definitely need that though. Conclusion. Alexa? A quote? Do I call it a quote though? Do we have to have a quote? What do we have to have? So that's good. She's on the right track. She's on the right road. She's going to the same school. She's trying to figure it out. She's on the right area. What is it? Centron, thank you for raising your hand. Evidence. Text. Evidence. Evidence. Think of a scientist. Scientists always need to have evidence. What would happen if they didn't have any evidence? What if I'm doing a science fair? A lot of us are doing science fair right now. So if I'm getting science fair and I'm being a scientist and I don't have any evidence, what happens, Natalie? Okay. What happens if a scientist doesn't have any evidence? The same students over and over again. Come on, Anderson. There's no proof. And then what happens if there's no proof? No one will believe you. So in the FSA, you get your FSA and you don't have any text evidence. One, you automatically lose points and you need every single point that we can get. But then also, your claim, what you are trying to say, your claim will not be believable. People are going to read it and they're going to say, wow, they have a good book. Wow, they have good transitions. But where's their proof? Where's their evidence? Why don't they have these things? Okay, so moving on. We have a good idea of what we have. Now I want to share with you what we grade paragraphs on. This is an example of a rubric. Does anybody know what a rubric is? No. Denier. But who has the rubric? Do you have the rubric on the FSA? We hand you think back at those mock FSAs. Did we hand you a rubric? No. But you're saying that you need it, right? To check off to make sure. But what else is a rubric? Hezekiah? To test the essay? A way to test the essay? To grade the essay. So this is what teachers use to grade the essay. You're going to be given, you have a rubric in your hands. Everybody hold up your rubric. Hold it up. Well, see, now this is where I see who has it and who doesn't. And I have an extra one, so this must be yours. So everybody has a rubric. Your rubric is different than mine. But your rubric is for you guys to understand. Okay? Kind of like a checklist, kind of what Janaya was explaining. That's not the rubric, okay? These paragraphs are essay examples. This is the rubric, the one with the chart with the list, okay? And it has check marks on it. So it's kind of like a checklist of like things that you need to have in your paper. So before I want to show you how we grade. I need us to sit up. Sit up. Sit up straight. Take your shoulders out. Put your chairs in if you have to. Wiggle around. Writing is not the most fun lesson in the world, but certainly we can be awake and alert and really try because we just graded our mock SSA grading, and I want to show you how we are grading it, okay? So each of us is going to get a number back eventually with what you in SSA, okay? So when you see your number, you can think back to this and say, what is it that they graded me on? What does this number mean? Well, it's very clear. The student's response is well-developed, informational or explanatory paragraph that examines a topic in depth and states information clearly based off of information found in textbook or while researching. So let's go through this. It clearly introduces the topic. You remember back at our thinking map, you have to have an introduction, correct? Yes, and it has to be clear. What is it that you're talking about? You have to say it to your reader, and it has to be very clear. We understand? All right. Effectively uses transitional words. Transitional words. You get graded on if you've used those transitions. First, next, then, last, and phrases to connect ideas. To connect ideas. Very important. If you're not connecting those ideas, then you're losing out. The reader might get lost in your essay. Okay, well, I know we're supposed to be talking about how animals affect humans, but for some reason, they're talking about how much they love their pet animal. Okay, why are you talking about that? What does that? You have to be clear with your connections. Students develop a topic with multiple facts, definitions, and concrete details. Quotation or other information examples are related to the proof. This is where your text evidence comes in. If you want a 4, the highest you can get, then you need to put in transitions. You need clear details. You need to have these things. Provide a strong conclusion section. Provide strong conclusion. It's not good enough to just say, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the battles of the Civil War. Is that very strong? No. I changed Max's conclusion sentence yesterday. Do you remember that? Go back to your papers. What did I change it to and from? So we'll go back to that in a second when he comes out. A number 3 response. So this is a little different, a little slower. Students respond in complete information, Students' response is a complete, informative, explanatory text that examines a topic and presents information based on information found in text or through research. Does that sound a lot like the first one? No. Kind of, yeah, I think it does. Number 4 and number 3, that introduction sentence kind of says the same. So let's look to see what the difference is. Clearly introduces a topic. Develops a topic with some facts, definitions, and details. So were you giving all the facts or were you giving some facts? Which one were you doing? Some facts and not all the facts will get you a 3, but not a 4. Use some linking words to connect ideas. Only some transitional words. If you start off your essay strong and you say first, next, but then your third paragraph doesn't have a transitional word and your conclusion sentence doesn't have a transitional word, you're going to automatically go to a 3 because you didn't do it throughout the entire thing. Okay? We need it from the very beginning to the very end. It has to stay consistent. You have to be strong throughout, not just in some places over others. Uses some precise language and dominant vocabulary to explain the topic. Provide a conclusion statement or section. So I would probably give Max's conclusion sentence maybe a 2 or a 3. Can you read your original conclusion sentence? So let's talk for a second. The first one was, finally, this battle is very interesting. In conclusion, the battle is General Robert E. Lee's victory. Give a number. 0, 1, 2, or 3, or 4. Which one would you grade that? Let's see. I see some 3s. I see no hands over here. What would you grade that? Is that strong? It's a 4. Is that somewhat strong? It's a 3. It's even lower than that. It's a 2. Some 3s. Some 3s. This happens, what would you grade that? Like a 2 for her. Okay? It says, finally, this battle is very interesting. In conclusion, this battle is General Robert E. Lee's victory. Okay, so then we changed it. Let's read the changing. Now, so it says, finally, the Battle of Chancellorsville is very interesting. In conclusion, there is a very interesting battle that gave General Robert E. Lee a major victory. Okay, so him and I work together to change that to make it sound like what Ms. Montes is saying. Combine your thoughts together and make it a very strong sentence. Instead of having 2 weak sentences, we combined it and made it 2 strong sentences. Everybody put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. Make it rain, go down. Keep your hands on your desk, please. The student's response is incomplete or oversimplified. You don't write enough. If you write simple sentences like this battle was this, and there's no supporting details, there's nothing like that, it's only going to get you wrong. Only not going to get you as many points. That examines a topic. You're just examining it. You're not really giving your opinion, your thoughts, anything like that. Attempts to introduce a topic, attempts to develop. What is this word? Attempts. Attempts to introduce a topic, attempts to develop a topic. Ineffectively groups words, some related to some ideas. What does this word attempt mean? What does attempt mean? I attempted to play kickball, but my team lost and I could not do it very well. What does this word attempt mean, Gerard? Choose? No, it's not a picking and choosing thing. Attempt. Attempt. Friend? You're trying. Exactly. That's exactly what it means. It means that you're trying. This person tried. If you just try and you just don't know everything, you're going to get a 2. That's what you're going to get, a 2. So if you try, uses limited language and vocabulary. Nevaeh said something about vocabulary, or Sanaya, one of the 2. You guys said something about vocabulary and how the vocabulary is important. Now, let's look at what gets you a 0. Because some of us in here might get a 1 or a 0. And we need to know how to prevent that. The 0's response is flawed for various reasons. Various means more than one. Okay? It might be one or the other, but it varies. It's blank. It's copied. It's illegible. Comprehensible. Off topic. 0. Do we understand? So let's think about that. It's blank. How many times do I say the only wrong answer here is? So you don't even answer the topic? Done. You're a 0. If you just copy the prompt, you're a 0. Okay? So be thinking about that. Are you that person that just sat there at the FSA mock? This is what happens as a consequence of that, okay? Copy. You just copied the text and plopped and dropped. What is plopping and dropping? Copying and pasting. You copy and paste, they're going to give you a 0. Why would they give you a 0? For plopping and dropping, for copying and pasting. Lazaro?
You're not really making something over it. You're just looking at something.
Is it your work?
No, it's not yours.
So how can they grade your work if it's not anything, right? Miguel, you'd like to add?
Yeah.
Not in your own words. Exactly. Moving on. Illegible. What does that mean? Illegible. Some of us have troubles with this. Illegible. That word is illegible. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Manuel? Pick someone. It's a hard word. It's a very complicated word. I wasn't expecting anybody to understand it. Not able to read it. Why would someone not be able to read your work? JJ?
Like you're not trying to get it sloppy.
It's sloppy. Ask yourself, am I that person? Does Miss Schmidt always give me back my paper because she doesn't understand what I'm saying? Because she can't read the words that I'm writing on your paper? That will give you a 0, okay? But just to get a 1, it's pretty easy, okay? May not introduce a topic. And I'm just going to go over it very briefly. May not introduce a topic or topic is unclear. May not develop a topic. You don't go into detail about it. You just say the topic, but you don't go into detail about it. Maybe too brief. How many of you didn't necessarily write 5 paragraphs on the FSA? Think to yourself, if that was you, you don't have to tell me who it was. If that was you, you might have gotten a 1. Okay, because it was too brief, too short. May not be using any linking words to connect ideas. Uses vague, ambiguous, or repetitive language. Repetitive language. Repetitive language. Repetitive language. What did I just do there? Nevaeh?
You know, you have to use it over because you're speaking your language.
Do some of you guys do that in your writing? Ask yourself, do I do that in my writing? I see some of you guys going, yeah, I teach you that a lot. You said, imagine this, imagine that, imagine this. That's very repetitive, right? I'm saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And may provide minimum or no conclusion sentence. Okay. So I think all of us can kind of evaluate. Evaluate yourself. Where do you think you stand right now? Are you a 4? Are you a 3? Are you a 2? Are you a 1? Or are you a 0? If you're a 0, we need you to get to a 2, to a 1. If you're a 2, we need to get you to a 3. If you're a 4, we need to keep you at a 4, okay? So you don't have to tell me what number you think you are, but I do want you to reflect on what number you think you are, okay? So that way we can know where we can go from there. So we all have this rubric right here. Can I borrow yours? Let's go through it really fast. An introduction. Let's read what's in the introduction. Let's go through the first one. Purpose, focus. You guys all have a sheet of paper, correct? Hold it up. Show me your sheet of paper. Okay. Point to this box right here. Let's all read that box class together. 1, 2, 3. Indent. For the 3. And what does that? That's what you need to have in your introduction. Okay. So when you're going back and looking at your paragraphs for your battle, you need to be able to see, did I have a hook? Did I have an index? Did I introduce the ideas? 2 to 3 ideas, not just 1 idea. You got to have 2 to 3. Let's read this box here, conventions. Go to where it says conventions, and it's the first box underneath, right here. First letter capitalized. Oh, you said. Spelling. Punctuation. Complete sentences. You understand? So when you're going through your work, you're going to need to see, do I have these things? Now we go to this box over here. Body parts. Indent. transitions, topic sentence, group related ideas, cite the text by title, facts, definitions, examples, quote, sentence variety, text vocabulary, personal connection, first letter capitalized, spelling, punctuation, complete sentences. Did we notice? What did you notice about the body? What do you notice about the body that maybe the introduction and the conclusion do not have? What's the difference between the body and that? What do we notice about that? TJ Brennan? Same thing. Yeah, it has different words, but it kind of has the same thing. Like right here, it has spelling, then it has spelling down sentences, complete sentences. Very good. This is the same thing too. And then transitions, don't really have topic. The information. It has more information, correct? Did we notice this whole box that the other ones don't?
Yeah.
This title, we put in our facts, we put in our definitions, we put in our examples, we put in our quote, we put in our sentence variety, our text vocabulary, our personal connection. Personal connection. There's a lot more that goes into the body than in the topic and the conclusion, correct? Okay, let's read conclusion. Indent, transition, relate, restate the topic, closing sentence, first letter capitalized, spelling, punctuation, complete sentences. Okay, so I gave us 3 example essays. We're going to read them, and then as your partner, you and your partner are going to grade them. You're going to give me a number, 0, 1, or 2. What do you think? 2 is the highest, 0 is not good at all, 1 is in the middle. You understand? So 0, not good. I don't want to grade that. 1, you've got some things in there, but you still need to work on it. And then a 2, you've got everything that you need to have in there. That is a wonderful paragraph. Do you understand? Very simple. All we're doing is reading. I'll read the first paragraph, and then as a group, you guys are going to, as a pair, you guys are going to read example 1, example 2, and example 3. So example 1 says, imagine the Civil War just ended. We're just going to read it. Imagine. I use the word imagine because you guys love to use the word imagine. So that's what I did. Imagine the Civil War just ended and slavery was finally abolished. Then you look around and you see your town destroyed. Thank you, some of you, for following along and pointing with your finger and looking at the words as I do that. Very nice. And you can see JJ, who I have his paper, and he's looking at the board and really trying to stay focused. Imagine the Civil War just ended and slavery finally abolished. Then you look around and see your town destroyed. How would you rebuild? Would you forgive the state that destroyed your town? These were the questions Abraham Lincoln had to answer after the Civil War was over. Reconstruction was the rebuilding of the South after the Civil War. Reconstruction began in 1865 and ended in 1877. During Reconstruction, the North wanted to help the South become part of the Union again. According to Dubsters.com, federal troops occupied the South during Reconstruction. The troops made sure that laws in the southern states were being followed. Abraham Lincoln was the president of the United States during Reconstruction. He offered a good deal to the southern states. The deal was that any state that took an oath to the Union would be pardoned or excused. Additionally, each state had to make a new constitution that made slavery illegal. Southern states did not like the change and started to pass laws called black codes. Dubsters.com states black codes stops black people from to vote, go to school, owning land, and getting jobs. And if Reconstruction never took place, the South might still have laws that treat black people worse than white people. Reconstruction was an important time in history that helped the North and South come together after the Civil War. Before you even do, just put a number on the side, 0, 1, or 2. 0, 1, or 2. Was it the best paragraph in the world? Probably, well, it's pretty good, but think about it. Did it have all the things? Look at your rubric, your checklist. Did it have index? Did it have a hook? Did it have a topic sentence? I see in there like counting. Yes. That's very smart. Very good. Does it have capital letters and proper spelling or punctuation? Does it have all of these things? If it includes everything, you give it a 2. If it includes something that it's not really, you give it a 1. If it includes nothing at all, you give it a 0. So put on the side of your paper, 0, 1, or 2. I want you to meet with your partner right now and discuss why. I'm going to give a minute on the clock. The person that's number 1 goes and talks first. Why did you give that person, what score did you give? And why did you give that person a score? Keeping it simple. 1 or 2. Okay? You gotta get closer together. First person going to Is this on one paper? No. So who's person 2? Person 2, please, if you're not talking, please do so now. Talk more. What is it missing? What is missing? tell me why they said 1. You gave it a 1. Why did you give it a 1? And really be thinking of a really well-developed thought here. Why did you give it a 1 versus a 2 or a 0? Okay? 2 voting. So I made some errors, some spelling errors is what you're saying. So if we look back to our rubric, is the goal to get 100%? No. The only way to get a top score is to have no mistakes. That is the question I want us to think about for a second. If I make some mistakes, but it's like very small amounts, like only like a little here and maybe like 1 in each paragraph, like this. Is that makes us automatically go down to a lower score? Jason.
There wasn't a hook. I wasn't really interested when he was just saying, imagine the. That's not really a hook.
So he says that it's not a hook. So if I had to pick a hook, this is what I would say it was. Imagine the Civil War just ended and slavery is finally abolished. Then you look around and see your town destroyed. How would you rebuild? How would you forgive the state and destroy your town? Stand up if you think it's a hook. Sit on the floor if you think it's not a hook. Is it a hook? You stand up. It's not a hook. Good try. You didn't succeed. Sit on the floor. What's on the floor? All right. Zaire gave me a compliment on this hook that I spent a lot of time doing. I think it's a very good hook. And what did you say about this hook? About the hook? There's facts in the hook? Yeah, there was facts. What were the facts? Slavery was finally abolished. That's a big fancy word, too. We all know the word abolished, don't we? Means to what? Done. We're done. It's destroyed. That gave you a good topic. What else did you do? What did you gave me a compliment. What was your compliment? Lazaro. What was the compliment? That's not compliment you said. Think back what you said to me. Did you hear that? You said to me, Ms. Schmidt. I just wanted to say that this book really made me want to read the rest of the paragraph. Right? You guys read those social studies? You read the workbooks? Do they sound like this? Imagine that you just destroyed it. Does it sound like this? No. Are they a little bit boring? Is this sentence, would you call this sentence boring? No. It is most definitely a hook. Sit back into your seat. Most definitely a hook. Has a hook. You gave it a 1. Why did you give it a 1? Any other reason? Was there a different reason? So someone said because there was a few flaws. Okay? There's a few flaws. Do not try to insert. It's here. This is the flaw right here. There's a flaw there. Spelling flaw. The Someone said that there was no hook, but there actually is a hook. Any other reason why you would give it a 1? But you gave it a 1? What was your reasoning?
And another flaw. You,
What was wrong with my hook?
some people like this is always saying the people when you're doing writing and it's like the people is not happy does not want to do something over and over. And a lot of people imagine.
But what about the other sentences? I didn't just write imagine the Civil War just ended, abolished.
Yeah,
I didn't just say that. I added more to the hook, correct?
that one is really good. That's perfect. But that's just not the question. That was-
So if I had changed the word imagine, you would have liked it more.
Yes.
Okay.
And also,
All right. That's fair.
another part is that when you put you can you didn't put
That we already covered that. Something different. Is there something different that you graded on?
the capitalization.
What did I capitalize?
You didn't capitalize it.
When?
It's just a relative place.
Is that capitalized? I or not? This is an I uncapital, right? And this is an I. The computer does one line. So if the computer does one line, is it capital or not capital? That's a good point. Right. But it's also, let's just say that it wasn't capitalized. Would that be enough to throw you down to a 1? No, it would not. Okay.
And also, is that when you put instead of saying black people, some people like people that are black people, they probably don't like being
But they use black people in the social studies book.
It's not always.
But they do it, so it's allowed. If the social studies book does it, I'm allowed to do it. Okay? Because it's not being disrespectful to black people that I call them. I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying that this group of people, and in particular, this group of people happens to be black. So I do like your thoughts and your ideas, but
Anything capitalized the black, because if you want to,
oh, that's a good question. So she said I need to capitalize the black and black people. Is that what you're trying to say?
because you're talking about like a certain type of race. Because there's like,
Would you capitalize the like white people?
yeah, because it's a certain type of race.
But is it